3 children rescued from squalid conditions. Their mother now under arrest.
Imagine stepping outside your house for the first time in years, just to touch the grass. For one 15-year-old boy in Pontiac, Michigan, that was his reality. Why? Because his mother abandoned him and his sisters in a house so vile, deputies called it a biohazard. How does a mother leave her own kids to rot in squalor for 4 years? And how did no one notice? This is the story of Kelli Bryant, a case so shocking it's left an entire community asking, where did we fail? Stick around, because this one's gonna hit hard. And hey, if you're hooked already, smash that like button and hit subscribe. We're diving deep into cases like this every week, and you won't want to miss it.
A few days ago, Oakland County Sheriff deputies came to this house behind me to do a welfare check on a woman. But when they got inside, they didn't find her, but they did discover her 3 kids who had been abandoned, living in deplorable conditions.
In February 2025, a landlord in Pontiac, Michigan, made a call that uncovered a nightmare. He hadn't heard from his tenant, Kelli Bryant, in months, so he asked police to check her condo. What they found? 3 kids. A 15-year-old boy and his sisters, 13 and 12, living alone, surrounded by trash, abandoned by their mom for years. Kelli's now facing life in prison for first-degree child abuse. And this case? It sparked outrage and heartbreak across the country. But here's the thing, this isn't just about a crime. It's about the kids who somehow survived it, and a system that let them slip right through the cracks. The victims here aren't just names, they're kids whose lives got stolen. A 15-year-old boy, the oldest, and his sisters, 13 and 12. We don't know their names. Legally, they're protected. But picture this. They were once part of a regular family in Pontiac, a working-class town just outside Detroit. These were kids who should have been in school, messing around with friends, maybe bickering over whose turn it was to pick the TV show. But instead, they were trapped, literally, inside a house with no working toilet, sleeping on pizza boxes, scraping by on whatever food got dropped off. Here's the gut punch. The boy once snuck outside, just to feel the grass under his feet. The girls? They hadn't stepped out in years, too terrified of what their mom might do if they did. It all started sometime between 2020 and 2021. Kelli Bryant packed up and moved out of the Lydia Lane condo, leaving her 3 kids behind. But this wasn't just abandoning them. She hid them, telling them never to go outside, never to open the door. For 4 years, they lived in filth. Garbage piled up to 4 feet high. Mold crept up the walls. The bathtub? It was overflowing with human waste.
He's upset about it, like, oh my God, this is right in our neighborhood. How could something like this happen?
Pontiac resident Emma Gross lives a few streets over from the home where the kids were found.
The kids stopped going to school, stopped seeing daylight, they stopped being kids. Neighbors sometimes spotted a woman dropping off food, but the kids? Never seen. How did this go on for so long? Hold that thought, we'll get there. Then, in February 2025, the landlord called for a welfare check. He hadn't heard from Kelli since December, and rent hadn't come since October. Deputies stepped inside, and what they saw? They couldn't believe it. On February 14, 2025, deputies pushed open that condo door and found the kids hiding inside, too terrified to even talk. Their clothes were caked in filth, their hair a tangled mess, their toenails so long they could barely walk. Sheriff Michael Bouchard called it soul-crushing. The boy finally broke the silence. He said Kelli abandoned them years ago. Neighbors backed it up. They'd seen her drop stuff off now and then, but the kids? Never a glimpse. Then came the twist no one saw coming. There was a 4th child, a 9-year-old boy, living with his dad, completely spared from this nightmare. So why'd Kelli keep the other 3 locked away in that hellhole? That's the question haunting investigators, and trust me, it only gets weirder from here. Sheriff Michael Bouchard couldn't hide his horror. He said, "You wouldn't do this to an animal, let alone your child." His voice cracked talking about the boy who just wanted to touch the grass. Then, at Kelli's arraignment, Judge Rhonda Folks Gross laid it down hard. I find her an acute risk. She hit her with a $250 million bond, cash only, and warned Kelli not to even think about intimidating her kids from jail. And the family? Kelli's ex-sister-in-law, Charlene, told Fox 2, "I'm devastated. I thought they were with their grandma." You could feel the shock in her words. Nobody saw this coming. So who's Kelli Bryant? She's 34, a single mom from Pontiac. Court filings paint her as struggling. No help from the kids' dads, just $800 a month from some state job. Her lawyer insists she's got deep roots, family, friends, a stable life. But here's where it unravels. She lied to everyone. Family thought the kids were safe with their grandma. But Kelli? She moved out in 2020 or 2021, leaving them with no soap, no school, no freedom. Prosecutors say she wanted them hidden, maybe to dodge scrutiny, maybe to shirk responsibility. So what was it, pure neglect, or something darker? We still don't know her full story, and that's the part that keeps you up at night. Kelli's first bond? A staggering $250 million, one of the highest ever. Legal experts slammed it as unconstitutional, and on March 7, 2025, Judge Cynthia Thomas Walker slashed it to $50,000 with house arrest rules. But her lawyer admitted, no one's got the cash to pay it. She's staring down 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, life in prison if she's convicted. Next hearings April 15, 2025. Prosecutor Karen McDonald's words hit hard. She abandoned them to a revolting pit of squalor. That line? It stuck with everyone. The kids are in care now, finally getting help. Sheriff Bouchard says they're making strides, but those scars? They could take years to heal, if they ever do. This case has Pontiac wrestling with tough questions. How'd the school system lose them? Why didn't neighbors catch on? Bouchard's pushing new laws to track kids better, hoping this never happens again. Kelli Bryant's story isn't over, but for her kids, it's a fresh start. So what do you think? Could this happen in your town? If this one hit you hard, smash that like button and subscribe. We've got more cases like this coming your way.